major highlights in South America. One is Machu Picchu in Peru, and the other is Iguazu Falls at the border between Brazil, Argentina, and Paraguay. What we see here is only a small portion of the overall falls, which consists actually of 200 plus individual falls. This portion is probably on about a quarter, maybe less, a tenth perhaps, of the total area. There is an infinite number of possible views of the falls. They just seem to be everywhere. This is a cross on the Argentinian side. Obviously, it's a major attraction. There's all sorts of languages being spoken. What a great way to see the falls. Just like at Machu Picchu, the place to stay is at the hotel, at the Das Cataractas Hotel, right at the falls themselves. Splurging here is really quite well worth it. A truly gorgeous setting for a gorgeous site. Does that make sense? And of course the rooms are just as elegant. Of course, it's not cheap, but it's worth it just for one night to be right at the cataracts. For a little change of pace, we'll try a jungle tour.
Piroga, essa piroga é feita no chão. Então você corta ela e vai esculpindo, né? Coloca brasa, vai cortando onde você quer queimando esse banana. Because it has a banana in the jungle. Yeah, fruit. Sometimes in the north you can't get a fruit. Yeah, if you want. It's very strong.
The roots are so strong they can be used just like twine by the Indians.
Aquela raiz como uma corda. They live off the tree for 4 months, and altogether they make the cocoon type of butter. It's called a poison peach tree. This tree is poisonous.
Tree itself?
Yeah, so that's why no birds attack the caterpillars, because they're sucking on this.
Yeah, he is.
He's big enough he could scare you, make you hurt yourself.
You just break off one of those and plant them.
Oh, sprout.
Wild pineapple.
That's it.
Here you have a canyon, the Iguazu Canyon. So this formation in the rock, we're here. About 10, it's a very slow process because it's relatively high rock. It's all basalt.
And the falls come in all sorts of sizes. There is even a traditional boat ride on this jungle tour. Not exactly a dugout canoe, but something like that. Sunset is a particularly special time at the falls. On the Argentinian side, you get a chance to look at the falls from really close up. In the distance there where the spray is, that's known as Devil's Throat, the biggest fall of Iguazu. It looks like we're getting close now. Taking a picture here is awfully difficult without getting the lens wet. So, the best thing to do really is to come in person. There's a gorgeous permanent rainbow here. This is as close as we dare to get, so as not to get completely soaked. It's just not the same effect even with a zoom.
This is the second stop, and we are going to walk in here. We are going to get off and get up steps. Here, from here we can see the Devil's Throat again, the San Martin Island, and all these falls that we see from the Hotel Dos Cataratas. We keep going, and we come to the last fall here that is called the Bozette, and then we comes back. When the river is full here, it has 275 falls, but these 21 are more important. Quando o rio está cheio, aqui tem 275 saltos, porém esses 21 aqui são os mais importantes.
And here's a much drier view of Devil's Throat, where we just came from. Just one of the many falls around here that runs into the river, and of course here we are downstream from that giant fall, Devil's Throat. This really gives a pretty good impression or understanding of the numerous falls that altogether constitute Iguazu Falls. There's no question that the Argentinian side is so much more awesome than the Brazilian side. On this side, you really get the scale of this gigantic falls. It's easy to tell where Devil's Throat is. Just look for that spray. Just 30 years ago, there was absolutely nothing here. Now, there is Brazilia. A noble experiment in modern urban planning. Controversial also. The car is king. Many intersections are in levels such as this one, eliminating the need for traffic lights. Cathedral, the ministries and the Congress in the middle, Congress buildings.
Yeah, with the...
As with everything else, over here, all the hotels are bunched together.
Well, they have, it's very...
Hello? A very special building, acoustically and architecturally. It's in front of the military administration building. Yeah. And standing inside this acoustical shell, a speaker can speak at normal voice without amplification, and because of the echo effects can be heard throughout this area in front of the acoustical building. The auditorium of the complex. Symbolically, the closer building represents the handle of a sword, and that obelisk in the background is the blade of the sword. The entire complex was designed by the most famous architect of Brazilia, Oscar Niemeyer. The memorial to the man who built this whole city, Juscelino Kubitschek, President of Brazil. Down under the pond here is the museum to Kubitschek. The memorial was designed by Oscar Niemeyer. The cathedral, also designed by Oscar Niemeyer. And here again the entrance duplicates the one at the Kubitschek Memorial. church bells. A most impressive structure indeed. Swooping to the heavens. The Ministry of Foreign Relations. The sculpture in the water represents the 5 continents. Across the way, Ministry of Justice. And the big highlight, the Congress building. At the Plaza of the Three Powers, we have, of course, the 3 branches of government. The judicial building, the executive building between the trees over there in the background, and the Congress building with its 2 very unusual half-sphere buildings, you might say hemispherical. Straight ahead is the National History Museum. Rather unusual looking building. Right in front of the Supreme Court building, of course, is Lady Justice. In front of the Executive building, and this is a good view and good feeling of the general plaza itself. As you can see, it's quite empty. Very typical of Brazilia in general. Not too many people on foot. The only way to get around really is by car or tourist bus. This very unusual building is actually the National Pantheon, not the Historical Museum, as we said earlier. There's a better view of the Congress building. It is said that on a certain day of the year, the sun sets or rises, as the case may be, right in between the 2 buildings, and that particular date is actually the anniversary of the inauguration of Brazilia. A lot of mysticism does surround the city. It's even supposed to be a place of very special magnetic and astronomical astrophysic power for those who understand all that kind of stuff. Another monument to the founder, President Juscelino Kubitschek. As with everything else in Brazilia, all the hotels are concentrated in one little section. Of course, this does make it quite easy to walk from hotel to hotel to find the one you like. We'll have a further look at this particular one. It's certainly decent enough. Breakfast is included, as with most Brazilian hotels. The room itself is fair size. Neat and tidy with good storage. And good lighting, which is unusual. A decent bathroom, also a good lighting, and of course hot water. No air conditioning, but the fan is really sufficient for the type of temperature climate that Brazilia has. Fairly decent actually for $15 for 2 people. The hotel just across the way is about $17, $18. That one is about 13, around 20, and some fancier ones around the $30 category. There is something very special about cobblestone streets. One can almost feel the history in them. The hundreds of people who have walked these streets. It's a very human and warm medium. Sounds contradictory indeed. And Ouro Preto is just full of cobblestone streets. And indeed it does feel very warm and very human, very pleasant. Hola, chicas.
Hola. Hola.
¿Qué son sus nombres?
Patrícia, Fernando, Tiago, Paulinho. Senta aqui, né?
¿De qué quiere falar?
Não sei. E nem eu. Nem eu.
Onde estamos?
Hã?
Onde aqui?
Ouro Preto. Ouro Preto.
¿Le gusta?
Gosto. Gosto.
Nada mais? Ok. Obrigada. The whole town is just one great view after another. In the distance is a rather special rock formation. Quite unusual. The town itself is just all over these rolling hills. Actually more than rolling, kind of steep hills. One of the things that the town is famous for is a number of examples of the works of a sculptor by the name of Alejandrinho, who himself was a rather ugly person, quite deformed, and yet his work is very beautiful in a Baroque sort of way. This entire church was his design and sculpting. The streets of the town are all just gorgeous, really. Even the cars have a hard time on these steep hills. The main square of Tiradentes is always teeming with people. In the background is the Museum of Inconfidencia. We are in front of the School of Mines with a fabulous museum. Unfortunately, they do not allow picture taking inside. The very center of Tiradentes Square seems to be a good sitting and meeting place for many people. Trio of typical residents and another trio. Come on.
É que eu quero ir trabalhar nos Estados Unidos de qualquer coisa.
Que trabalho? Que trabalho?
Trabalho? Qualquer tipo. É qualquer tipo de trabalho. Mas assim, que esteja alguma coisa.
E seu nome?
Elizabeth Helena da Silva.
E suas amigas?
Marta Helena da Silva.
O que ela fala?
Ela? É qualquer coisa também. Esteja ao alcance também.
Almost any view of the city contains some church or other. Everybody's getting ready for carnival. Inside the Casa de Contos are these rather interesting figures. The light fixtures are a bit different too. Well, I suppose a painter does have the artistic license to not show the scaffolding. Too bad we can't do that on video films. Certainly reminiscent of the balconies of Cartagena. Sculptures of soapstone,
Yes.
are quite popular in Ouro Preto area. Here is one of the local artists at work.
Así, al revés me parece. A perfume tá fazendo sucesso.
And there's another convenient way to see the city, especially given the crazy steepness of the streets. It seems appropriate to end our visit to Ouro Preto with a final look at the main square, and especially at the Palace of the Inconfidentes, which is a rather beautiful museum inside. Unfortunately, here too, they do not allow picture taking, so you'll just have to come in person and look inside. The figures in the four corners are quite interesting. We'll just look at the two front ones. The church just to the right of the Palace Inconfidentes does have a certain air to it. It's probably the best preserved of the churches in Ouro Preto. For our final view, we'll look at the statue of Tiradentes, the most famous hero of the town, sort of a liberator. Now that we've seen all the more important sites, we can perhaps look at what some of the typical people look like. Compagnia, one of the more popular hangouts in town. Especially the back room, which has a wonderful view. Not of the lovers kissing, but of the buildings beyond. For accommodations, we really lucked out with this beautiful colonial building. The interior is full of rather pleasant antiques. The room is quite simple, but also very delightful. As usual, with bathroom, hot water, good storage. But best of all, just a fabulous view in two different directions. At $12 a night, quite a nice bargain. Salvador, Bahia, northeastern part of Brazil. Famous for its beaches, great weather, and the rich African inheritance, both in the people and the foods and the carnival. Now, what's the reality of it? The reality is that Salvador is a great big town. The beaches are crowded, and they're not the pure white sand that one expects from Caribbean style stereotype beaches. Of course, lots of luxury hotels all along the seashore. And indeed, the bikinis are quite wonderful. The city itself does have some vestiges of old buildings, old colonial buildings, but one has to look pretty hard to find them. Many churches in town, as expected, of course. Inside the Church of San Francisco is, of course, the traditional gold leaf, but this one is particularly heavy in gold. Probably one of the richest churches in Brazil.
Do ouro em pó. Exatamente.
Olorão do pé, irmão.
Oloroma do pé, exame aconteceu constructed the period of gold in Brazil. It's very simple, the decoration of the work. This is wood. Wood carving, okay, plaster, and gold. So, and gold dust. It has 800 kilos of gold around of the church. They used to very
Guerreiro de Jesus. Ou não escutaram?
Guerreiro.
Não é guerreiro, terreiro.
Ah, terreiro.
The name of the square called Terreiro de Jesus. The right side again, you're going to see a funeral. The yellow building. It's one of the first medical schools in Brazil. Before the Jesuit school in Brazil. Petróleo, cacau,
Cantina de Lua is one of the hangouts of the city.
Our industry is about 80 kilometers from here.
One of the local art galleries.
Foi filmado vários romances importantes. A very important Brazilian picture has been filmed over here. Dona Flower and they had two hunchback. Dona Flor e seus dois maridos foram filmados aqui. The first mailbox of Brazil, the green over here, look at that. The specialty of Bahia. Se você justamente chegar à Bahia e quer comer uma comida típica, primeiramente vai ao Senac.
Tá perdido por aqui?
O Senac é uma escola de culinária e vocês podem.
Now, if that isn't a typical Bahian beauty, I don't know what is.
Ele disse que muito pouco pimenta. Vê se ele comer para ele ver como. You have to ask hot, she will say hot or cold. If you say hot, she put a lot of pepper. If you say cold, no pepper.
Do you have it? Extintor de incêndio?
Fire horse.
Não, ele come um pouco de pimenta e um extintor de incêndio. Coloca
Bom, now we're going to visit this church.
And this food is not just for tourists, the locals eat it too. Even the ones made up for tourists.
Agora tira a foto do baiano. Meu!
The Luxor Convent Hotel, a 5-star hotel in a converted convent. Quite unusual, quite interesting. Can't you just see some nuns taking a little dip in the pool? Si quiere ser estrella de Hollywood. Near Maceio, the beaches have the reputation of being some of the best ones in Brazil. And indeed they are quite blue-green waters, and the sand is quite white. Vendors sell everything from lobsters, pineapple drinks, and a song or two. Lots of little restaurants in these cabanas along the beach, serving the usual fish lunches.
Bandeirante é capital. Vou dizer para o paulista que ele é importante, a capital Bandeirante é terra da sua vista. E quem diz o repentista, todo simples violeiro, vai sempre do Rio de Janeiro e pra lá é viajante, a capital Bandeirante é capital. É do pau da São Joel? A capital Bandeirante é capital do
just past the restaurants are miles and miles of fairly deserted beach. And make for really nice long walks. At the very point is Baja de São Miguel. A somewhat different beach. Exploring the beaches north of Maceio now. And it's just one beach after another, all about of the same kind of look. This one happens to have some sort of statue not far from the shore. And of course, all along the edge of the sand, edge of the beach, are these little barracas selling food and refreshments, what have you. Every so often along the ocean, one can find a nice little restaurant like this one. This one is called Sonho Verde, or Verde. A rather idyllic setting. If you really want to get away from it all, you can come to Maragogi, small village, about 100 kilometers north of Maceio. Very quiet little area. There is a sort of a barrier reef about 1 kilometer offshore, which makes for a very calm beach, or relatively calm beach. The Maragogi Praia Hotel. It's a rather elegant little place. Not exactly a pool to do laps in, but kind of a cute little setting nevertheless. Olinda, one of the earliest capitals in Brazil. Very well maintained, well, quite well maintained anyhow. Declared an international monument by UNESCO, and for good reason. Any number of gorgeous sights just everywhere. This is a rather nice hotel in a converted old house right in the middle of Olinda, of the old part of Olinda. Quite comfortable, quite nice and quaint in the $10 to $20 price range. Reception area is kind of a antique display case. The town is not only well restored, but it's also well maintained with armies of street sweepers. The building right here is kind of the main bar hangout in Old Olinda. Apparently Old Olinda doesn't really have too many restaurants or bars. It's probably about the only one in the old part. The Mercado de Ribeira, full of handcraft little stores and galleries. Here's one of the craftspeople at work.
Rapaz, não tá tendo nosso preço quadrado. Eu vou tirar o tamanho.
De dentro a dentro, né?
E o João tá aí ou tá lá?
Tá aí.
Ah, ele tá trabalhando aí?
Ah, veio outro aí pra terminar.
Pronto, então
Você tira assim, ó.
a largura
Dentro,
dentro, né?
e dentro aqui também. Tá certo. É assim. Ele gosta de
The city government has done a great job of limiting the use of the town, so there's very little traffic. But perhaps have done too good of a job in that the town almost feels like a ghost town, really, with very little activity. Not too many people walking the streets. In front of the Museum of Contemporary Art, you can find quite a combination of styles. Across the street, the museum itself used to be a jail. The streets are ever so picturesque and quaint, but also sort of lifeless. Igreja de Misericordia, as we are approaching Alto da Sé. From here we start getting a very nice panoramic view of the city. No question but that those palm trees provide that magical tropical touch. Off in the distance is the modern city of Recife. One of the main crafts in this area are these embroideries. Well, they're not embroideries, they are lacework. At Alto de Sé are the traditional tourist stands. Você é artista de... Alright.
Ela que faz as camisetas, todas as camisetas da praça.
Muito bom. São muito lindas. E também ela.
É como é o nome aí?
Just at the edge of the old town is another option in accommodations. This rig just happens to belong to an American couple who have been touring all of South America. They've been on the road now for about a year and a half and still going at it. You're going to be the star of my film. What's your name?
My name is Leon.
Hello, Leon.
Hello. Como vai?
Muito bom. Obrigado. Linda.
Olinda.
E seu nome?
Carmen.
Olá, Carmen.
Olá, telefonista da pousada.
Okay. That's awful.
I know, I can't let me take it.
Well, I just took a picture of your truck out there and I said, this truck has been on the road for a year and a half with an American couple in it. And here's half of the American couple. Okay. Be a big movie star.
No problem.
The rooms are nicely appointed. Air conditioning, TV, icebox. Great views. Well-lit bathroom. At $15, just a great value. The beach at Natal is famous mostly for its sand dunes and also for its wonderful waters. Same sand dunes, different transportation.
Correu bocado de água aí, cara, ele perdendo debaixo de uma onda.
Not a bad place for lunch. Onto the dune buggy ferry boat. Talk about rush hour traffic. Even the donkeys or horses go across this way.
Yeah.
But not very willingly, it seems. Canoa Quebrada, one of the more famous beaches south of Fortaleza. Quite deserted. Just a few posadas form the village. Fantastic place to relax for a week or two. But of course, you gotta be prepared to do absolutely nothing other than swim and walk. This is the biggest restaurant in town. The town's main church, perhaps the only one.
I don't understand.
For some reason, the symbol of the village is this crescent and star. I'm sure there's some kind of symbology, explanation, whatever, which we might find out about a little later. Then again, we might not.
Coisa que eu notei, não tem um coqueiro nessa praia.
Okay, and here's the local artist who's making little trinkets for the ladies.
Porque saiu negrinho, eu tinha muito vizinho.
Here's your son that you made with her, huh? Okay.
Isso aqui é escama de peixe. Eu faço os brincos para as mulheres bonitas que
These are
essa loura aqui, ó,
fish scales.
Sabe? Vou fazer um brinco
That he
pra ela.
makes.
Aquelas 4 mulheres que estão ali de brinco, ali, faz o brinco também, tá? Produzido.
And he makes these for the pretty women.
É São Paulo? O brinco para a orelha dela, ó.
Okay.
E aquelas ali, todas as mulheres com brinco, para ficar brinco bonito, não?
Cadê o meu?
A ver, que faz? A ver, que faz? Okay.
Francês.
And this little lady makes little bracelets with your name on it.
Lindo.
There's one has a choice of options of how to explore the beach. Pretty nice lazy life. Ok. A ver, outro lado.
Você vai para Los Angeles.
Isso.
Volta.
Volte, Morena. Olha que sai tudo ali, viu?
Quem vai aproveitar.
Será famosa em Los Angeles? Yes. Belem, or as they say in Portuguese, Belém, a city of vast splendors, but also a city with lots of skyscrapers, or tall buildings anyway. And always the Amazon River in the background. Belem is still a large Amazonian port with a whole lot of traffic going through it, river traffic.
This is Emilio World Museum. It's a research center about the Amazon jungle. We will see here birds, animals, and the big trees of Amazon jungle.
A mini jungle right in the middle of the city with all the traffic noises. But still an example of what's to come. There really are crocodiles, and they really do move once in a while. There's a big guy over there. A couple of turtles having a little fun. There's something called a furau. And this is the king of the Amazon jungle. What is the name of it?
Sumaumeira.
Sumaumeira. And water lilies. The sound of jackhammers in the background and buses. The octopus tree, which grows around other trees and eventually kills them. There is even some wildlife that just runs off on its own. Brazilian eagle. Shows how to make out the shapes through these cages. But that's supposed to be the biggest monkey of Brazil, or I should say the biggest species of monkey. I'm sure they're having a good time, even upside down. There's the rear end of an Australian ostrich.
Branquinha, ela toma banho toda hora. Fica com vestidinho branco, limpinho.
Festinho, então.
Tá de meia preta, passa amarelo.
Here's something called a peixe boy. Rather large water mammal. Apparently pretty close to extinction. And that it makes only one baby every 8 years.
Only eat grass. To breath.
Here's an electric eel. Can generate up to 600 volts. There's a real-life puma. The animal we've been hoping to see in many a jungle trip. Perhaps this might be the best example of one, maybe the only example. And a much more staid leopard.
Ai, que lindo.
Switching now to the richest church in Brazil, Basilica de Nossa Senhora de Nazaré, built in the early 1900s with materials that were imported from all over the world. Another small zoo.
They have a small baby in it.
And there's a facsimile of an Indian funerary urn. Which river is this? What did you say is the name of this river?
Para. Para is an Indian word. It's a big river.
And the ocean is down that way?
120 kilometers over there.
Just behind the river is the old part of the city, still with a lot of Portuguese architecture. Dock area, and beyond that in the distance the Ver o Peso market. Very colorful area as we drove by it. Unfortunately our guide refuses to walk over there, so it's just too damn dangerous. A thriving market in ceramics, undoubtedly sold as being one of a kind, handmade. From Belem to Manaus. We'll try yet another airline. So far we have tried Varig and Bus. And today we're going to try the third airline, Trans-Brazil. So far they all seem to be about equal. The flights have been relatively inexpensive. And with the huge distances in Brazil, they certainly make a lot of sense. Manaus, in the heart of the Amazon, 1,400 kilometers from the ocean, but navigable river, big enough so that great big cruise ships are able to come all the way up here. And all sorts of other ocean-going vessels. This floating dock was completely built in Europe around the turn of the century and was brought over to Manaus and reassembled here. This is also the starting point of the many jungle tour companies. The town itself is a mixture of old architecture like this one and some rather modern high-rise buildings just behind it. The municipal market dates from the late 19th century, late 1800s. These must have been some grand old buildings at one time. All the way down to the stained glass windows.
Pelo preço não, é pela quantidade que tem um pouquinho centavo. E 500 gramas não vale mais nada, olha. Não dá mais nem para tirar da canela da gata. Viu? É isso aí, viu? Uma vez no Belém do Pará, quando eu estava lá naquela cidade velha, acabada, recortada, sempre eu estava trabalhando lá, apareceu um cara dele lá dentro. Bem barato. Quem quiser aproveitar, ou em vez do outro mês, comprei 40 anos, já está nós vamos pegar aqui. E a mulher disse, pode ir ali perto do menino, ali na frente. Vem que me dá dinheiro, você.
Já
Eu e o irmão aqui, ó.
Tá dormindo, velho. Ele tá dormindo. Ainda vai passar no quarto, olha.
This is an interesting specialty of the region. It's called Guarana. The Guarana beans.
Isso, Guaraná.
Guarana.
É. Daqui mesmo.
Daqui Amazonas.
Isso.
Well, that was ahead, and this is what the Guarana looks like.
1,70.
From that they make powder, claimed to be aphrodisiac for whatever reason. They also make syrup. And of course they also serve it right here in the store. It's got a funny sort of chocolatey taste to it. Seems to be a satisfied customer here. This little park is in the middle of the downtown area. Here's another bunch of rather exotic fruits. This one is known as cocoma. And over here we have fried bananas. And the friendly fried banana vendor. The star of the old buildings is the Opera House, which was built completely from materials imported from Europe. Around the turn of the century, many a famous opera star performed here. The style is known as neoclassic. Of course, it's under restoration right now, therefore all the scaffolding and stuff. Capitol building.
roxa come quella là.
Dov'è?
Là. Una fiore rossa.
Ah, rossa è quella là, sì, giusto, hai ragione.
E questa fiore fecha e si trasforma in la...
The giant water lilies
Sì?
on the Amazon.
Ho capito. Bravo.
E questa foglia chega a 2 metri di diametro, questa foglia.
And this is an explanation that you're hearing in Italian, for those of you who know Italian.
E questa la foglia tiene molto spine.
Sì.
Come si dice spine? Quando il fiume scorre molto e rompe il cavo e
la foglia galletta.
E questa foglia dopo di formata resiste 3 a 4 settimane. It becomes a small stem which links the root to the leaves on top of the water. And this plant passes by 3 stages. The first stage comes a piece of bark, you can see it, that looks like a potato, which opens the flower. You can see the flower, see? This is the second stage of the plant. On the first day, the flower is white, like that one. On the second day will change the color, will be pink. On the third day, the flower is red. And then the flower closes again, and then becomes the leaf. This is one of the biggest tree of the Amazon region.
And here is a hotel.
Yeah.